Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. In the last part, we made our way to Great Bay here and got ourselves the Zora transformation, also after rescuing our horse, who is very important, and we have them back. And now it's time for us to explore this area a little more. By the way, what I showed up a moment there ago, that little electric barrier that surrounded me, that's when you press R when swimming as the Zora. That is what actively causes you to go fast in the 3DS version, and it's an active attack at the same time, but it just doesn't feel that good in 3DS. Hey, aren't you a cow? Were you able to get an empty bottle from the top of that waterfall from the beavers? Those guys are quick, but it's pretty tough, isn't it? Yeah? Hey, Mikau, you want to do that thing you used to always do? So what this guy's talking about is Zora Link's equivalent to the spin attack. If you hold the B button down, your fins sharpen up and become dual boomerangs. They can't actively fetch things like the boomerang can usually in Zelda from memory, but they can be used to attack things from a distance. I think if you hit all 5 of those, you get like 20, 50 rupees, something like that. Let me look up the exacts of that in a moment. But for right now, we want to come over to the far southeast end of this part of Great Bay, because there's this little waterfall basin here. And we can sink into it with the Zora. And at the bottom is actually our first appearance of the Zelda staple enemy, the Like. If we kill this thing, we get something good from it. It takes just 2 hits from the electricity and it dies. Beneath its corpse is a piece of heart. Pretty nice. Also, Like-likes are pretty good in that I think they consistently drop either a red rupee or a 3 blue rupees upon death, so they're not too bad for money grinding, all things considered. Again, we still have about 2,000 rupees to go before we hit our end goal of 5,000, but we're gonna get a lot of that done, I think, this 3-day cycle, now that I think about it. Here it is. With the jar minigame, you get 100 rupees, but you actively only get 90 because jar replacements cost 10. And if you don't hit all 5 jars with one dual boomerang attack, which is actually surprisingly easy to do, I've only maybe won that minigame twice, you just lose 10 rupees outright. Apparently, I should also mention this. This entire area is technically called Zora Cape right here, but I think that you can only find that out by reading a sign. I don't think any NPCs outright refer to it like that off the top of my head. Ah, the return of the chill as hell Zora domain music. I love this song. That's at Zora Hall. Pretty small. Ah, you're Mikau, right? Good luck practicing for the concert. I'm looking forward to your rehearsal. We're gonna rehearse? Alright, check out the stage, I guess. Alright, how we doing up here? What do you want, Mikau? Are you checking the stage? I don't know why, but there's something wrong with the lighting. I think you actively can light the torches here for more dialogue there. Mikau, you're just in time. I want to check the levels on your guitar. Can you play me a note? Alright. That's a little too quiet. I guess I'll turn it up a bit. Okay, thanks, Mikau. I don't think actively helping these guys does anything besides just give you more dialogue, but it's nice that they actually have little secrets like that, quote unquote. But we want to go talk to the NPCs around here because these lead to the various rooms of the other band members that Mikau worked alongside. Ah, Mikau, what have you been doing this whole time? Evan the band leader's been waiting for you a while now. Hurry up, go in. I don't want to go in that room first, though. I want to go in the far room first. Not really for any notable reason. Hey, Mikau, I haven't seen you in a while. Where have you been? Oh, that's right, Evan, your band leader's looking for you. Okay, but now keep your ears out because it's time for some good old musical Easter eggs. The drum player is playing the cave theme from A Link to the Past. I love this song. Mikau, where have you been? Where have you been? I was worried. The concert in town's coming up, but it seems like all the band members are in a funk. I bet you didn't know that, huh? Especially Lulu. I haven't heard her voice in a long time. She's usually in good spirits, too. Oh, I wonder if this is related to the ocean turning all weird. Actually, I know a little bit of Lulu's secret. You want to hear it? I really want to hear it. There's a rumor that the ocean's getting weird because there's trouble offshore at Great Bay Temple. And they say when that happens, something bad will befall the Zora descendant who's been protecting the temple. Do you catch my drift? And lately, Lulu's been looking kinda weird. Maybe Lulu's the... that feels kinda likely. I'll have to investigate that. Next up, let's go hit up the room next door. Mikau, do you need to see Joppas? You're gonna have another jam session with him, aren't you? I can't wait. This is my favorite of all the songs that plays a little Easter egg. The Zelda 1 dungeon theme works so well as a baseline. I love it so much. The next one's technically more detailed as a song cover, but it's just so nice. Also, talking to him is kind of hard. Mikau, where have you been? I'm all like, hey, where's Mikau? The concert's coming up soon. And now our band leader's pulled a vanishing act. Evan's all holed up in his room just writing songs. And to top it off, Lulu just stands out back staring at the sea. She doesn't even respond when you talk to her. If you guys think it's just because Lulu's not interested in me, I'd understand, but I'm telling you, it looks like something's really wrong. There's something you're trying to hide from me? I'm not running an inquiry or anything, but look, if we don't start rehearsing real soon, we're not going to be ready for the concert. You can actually have this band foreshadowed to you very early in the game, because at the mayor's office you can find their manager on the first day, I think even maybe the second day. It's kind of cool just to have having that like out there in the open so early. Stop running the band leader like you do. Alright. And now for another very good song. The band leader is playing the Zelda 1 ending game over theme. Mikau, how was it? Did you get the eggs back? Not quite. Oh, you couldn't do it after all. Have you been to see Lula out back by the ocean? Ever since the pirates stole her eggs, she's been just standing out there gazing at the sea and sighing. Mikau, we need those eggs safe so Lula can get her voice back. We've grown accustomed to life in a peaceful sea. The only one among the Zora tribe who was able to go to blows with those wild pirates. It is you with the blood of Zoran heroes flowing within you. I'm still keeping Lula's problem secret from the other band members. They've all been looking forward to our Carnival of Time concert, and I can't tell them it's canceled because Lulu can't sing, can I? Guess not. There is another room we can check out here, but I don't want to go there yet because there's some other things I would need to take care of first anyway. So I guess let's go see Lulu. Also notably, there is a shop here in Zora Hall. In it, you can buy arrows, I think 10 arrows for 20 rupees. The hero shield in case you lose one to a like, because like-likes themselves are mostly underwater, but they are on the surface at night of the beach. And red potions for, I think, 60. Also, since I forgot to mention it, the Goron Shrine shops, its prices actively, I think, halve after you've beaten Goat, so that's not a bad way to get some things. Howdy. How you doing, Lulu? That sad face is trying to tell you something. You can see it in her expression. Alright. Also, I forget to do this the entire recording, basically. But you can just leave Zora Hall by jumping off the ledge near Lulu and you can just swim the water, no problem. I walked through it the entire LP instead of just jumping out for some reason, and I don't exactly know why. Next up, just so we can have a little more setup for order of events, let's check out the houses over here. I could actually do the main thing in that house on the far side right there, but I technically need one more item to get everything done in there. This is the fisherman's hut. Well, if it isn't a Zora, how things have been lately. Could you be coming to see me because you can't catch any fish? It's not good out there. Lately, I've been coming back empty-handed myself. Why, I was almost hoping you were coming to share with me. Got a seahorse here. Help me. Please take me back to the waters near Pinnacle Rock. Are you interested in that fish? It's a rare fish, isn't it? It's called a seahorse. I caught it swimming around here, just off of Pinnacle Rock. Since it's rare, I was thinking of selling it at the town carnival, which should be starting soon. If you want it, I'll give it to you, on one condition. Do you have a pictograph of the female pirates? No, why, creep? What's this? I guess you don't have one after all. Technically, I do have a pictograph of a female pirate, but it's all blurry and not that great. The all-important face, I can't see it very well. Any good picture of a pirate will do, even a snapshot of a guard. Can't you help me out? In fact, if you actually look around, we can see a, DSI camera quality texture of a female pirate. We actively need to know that because you do need that seahorse to get anywhere in the story, really. Pinnacle Rock, by the way, because I actively don't read the sign for it, is those two rocks off in the distance that are just kind of like spired up like a gate. We will have to investigate that later. But yeah, the Zora swimming in this game controls so smoothly. The analog stick movement's responsive, the turning is great, it's not sluggish whatsoever. I love controlling Zora Link in the water, and it's my favorite Zelda game water mechanic period because of it. Twilight Princess gets a little close, but not quite to this level, and it makes me sad. Now we need to go deal with those pirates that they brought up. Now, and I actually forget to talk to a Zora that hints to this, there is a secret hidden passageway into the pirate's fortress right in this particular wood plank that I'm targeting. Because the quote-unquote front of the pirate's fortress is just a gate you can't open. Notably, by the way, if you're playing the 3DS version, Shiro, the soldier we got the stone mask from, is found in this screen somewhere. I think he's on the very north end or something like that. Or maybe he's over here somewhere. I actually don't remember. So the Pirate's Fortress is this game's version of the Gyarados Fortress from Ocarina, to the point where it's even still a stealth segment. This is why you want the stone mask, because it allows you to just walk straight up to them without being thrown out via the front gate. I think if you get caught in the inner sanctums of the fortress, you're just thrown out to this screen, but if you're caught here, you're thrown out the front gate, period. But this also gives us a good opportunity to just get that good snapshot that the fisherman was asking for. You don't have to like center the photo, but I do try to get kind of close to centering just to make sure I actively like get the snapshot as counted. Because sometimes things are a little awkward with that. There are some treasure chests you can see on the map here, but they're all rupees that you unlock underwater, which I don't care for because I'm gonna get money different ways anyway. Notably though, this fortress is interesting in that this is actually the premier area, I believe, of what would become the Gyarados icon moving forward in the series. My Ocarina of Time LP showcased this pretty well, but in the original versions of Ocarina, the Gyarados icon was a moon with a star next to it, which pretty closely resembled certain flags belonging to the Muslim faith. So starting with Majora's Mask, they made a completely new icon that is still used to this day. It's even in Tears of the Kingdom. Kind of weird that they gave it to the pirates first and it just became synonymous with the entire, like, race after that in the series, but oh well. Actually, think about it. It's kind of interesting thinking about it. I know, I just said thinking about it twice, shush. Great Bay is arguably the most iconic part of Majora's Mask, barring the moon itself, and I don't quite know why, because this is the area they gave the stage in Melee to. I like that stage, barring some of the hitboxes, especially in Ultimate on the turtle part of it being a little rough, but yeah, I don't really get why. Now, this is going to ultimately be our stealth segment, but you are going to be using Zora Link a lot in here, so it's just recommendable to always have the Zora Mask on in here. In fact, by and large, whenever you're in an area for main plot, you should always have the relevant transformation mask on you. Like, I usually have that and the Ocarina, but past a certain point, I'm just like, alright, the mask and 2 items, that's all I need. Majora's Mask made that even easier, admittedly, by just having the Ocarina be its own separate button, which I think I brought up before, so you could have, say, the Ocarina, the transformation mask, and 2 items on you all at the same time. For all my problems with Majora's Mask 3D, them bringing that in from Ocarina of Time 3D is genuinely great. Okay, so be careful in this room. You see that little, like, orange wind that I'm getting close to? If you get pulled into that, you are sent back to the outside section that we first entered this inside section in with the pirates on the boats and all that. And that's just a waste of time at this point. Don't fall into that trap. This room, though, is pretty notable. We actually want to get the Goron mask into our items, because there is a notable pickup in here. There's also some mines, and I think that over there is like 20 or 50 rupees. We want to climb up here, and no matter what, you need to hit that crystal switch we saw on the right side of the screen a moment ago, but we want to turn into the Goron and break these barrels, because behind them is a pressure switch. This one doesn't have a timer audibly, but it is a pretty strict timer to get into the cell down here for this piece of heart. If you mess that up, just roll back up to the top, press the switch again, and Goron roll down again and again until you get it. If the Goron roll is a bit uncontrollable for you at this point still, Bunny Hood's a good alternative. If you have that, which you probably should by this point. It's kind of interesting, though, that there's 3 pretty decently reliable methods of traveling fast on land, besides just fast traveling with the Song of Soaring, but they're all very useful for different things. Like, Goron rolling is the overall fastest, but it only allows you to access areas that you don't need Epona to jump over. Epona's slower, but allows you to access more areas, and the Bunny Hood's just good for general faster movement. So figuring out which one you might need and when is kind of a task, albeit in most cases I tend to just ignore the Bunny Hood because I'm doing so many other things along the way that the faster movement doesn't really matter for me. Be careful with that, oh god. Be careful with that particular water spout, by the way, because if you're just slightly off-center on it, you basically just get ignored and have to wait for the water to return down. It's more or less the exact same thing as the water spouts in the water temple back in Ocarina, just slightly textured differently. So in this room, we have to climb up this ladder and shoot behind us for another crystal switch to open the door down below, but there is a little telescope behind me right now you can investigate to get a general lay of the land for the main part of the pirate fortress. And I would recommend doing that just to learn some pirate patrols in the case you haven't got the stone mask. Because without it, this place can be, I'd say probably arguably one of the hardest stealth segments in the entire series, even with the way you have to slightly make it easier on yourself. And by that, I mean, if memory serves at least, like Ocarina of Time in the Gerudo Fortress, you can just shoot an arrow at the Gerudo guards to stun them, and they'll just lay on the ground unconscious. I think they can actively block your progress in some cases when you do that, but it's a good way to get around things without having to worry too much about the stealth part of this. If memory serves, I've done this fortress without the use of the stone mask maybe twice. It's pretty rough. With that said, we want to climb up that tower in the center of the area and come through this door in order to actively get some plot progress done in this area. Bees! I've been waiting for you. And did you find the rest of the eggs? No, but that's because... What are you trying to pull here? If people hear the great pirates have lost the treasure they stole, we'll become the laughingstock. Yes, but Aviel... The sea is strangely murky where we were attacked by the sea snakes. Silence! That's why the Zoras can't send for any help. Now that the eggs are gone, the Zoras should be frantically searching for them. If we don't hurry, the Zoras will get them before we do. There are 4 eggs here now. Hurry, go find the other 3 eggs before those sea snakes eat them. Understood. Wait. The Zora eggs are the only clue we have about that dragon cloud floating over the bay. If what that strange masked one says is true, and we can get our hands on the treasure that lies sleeping in the temple in that dragon cloud, then we can spend the rest of our days living the good life. So get a move on, and go find them, now. Understood. So how about we use the power of bees? You do actively need to shoot that beehive. That's not just like a little joke cutscene there. Because if you try to enter that room where the leader of the pirates is, the guards in that room specifically can see through the stone mask, and there's no way to get the item that lies in the center of that area otherwise. That stumped me for a good while because I didn't realize I could climb the tower on my first playthrough for about 20 minutes, but oh well. So in here we have ourselves a notable item. And it's one we're going to be using for the rest of the area, so probably shouldn't leave your main 3C items. The return of the hookshot, my favorite design for it, period. Use it to grapple items so you can reel them in or pull yourself over to them. Press C to arm it and use the analog stick to aim. Release C to shoot. Now, something I don't have any way of outright saying for effect, but it definitely feels like the hookshot in this game has a longer chain than it did in Ocarina. I don't think it's quite long shot level, but it's definitely closer to that than the native hookshot length in the last game. We are going to be mostly using it to pull ourselves to items, though, rather than pulling items to us. There's only really 2 areas in the game you get to do that. But now that we have it, we can bring ourselves up into this aquarium, and with a bottle, capture one of the stolen Zora eggs. It doesn't look healthy, you better have someone examine it quick. Now, the annoying thing about the Pirate's Fortress is that I think no matter what version, unless you go super out of your way, you're probably going to be doing this place in 2 visits. Because as that cutscene said, they have 4 eggs here, but we only have 2 bottles. If you're playing Majora's Mask 3D, you have 3 by now without going out of your way for a 4th one. And that's always been very annoying to me. I have had playthroughs where I've gone out of my way to have even up to 4 bottles by now. But it just kind of artificially lengthens everything else, so it's just better to do this place in 2 visits no matter what. Now, as for where the other 3 eggs are here, if you look on the map here in the Pirate's Fortress, there are several places where there's just doors that lead off-screen that aren't marked with white squares. Those are the exits and entrances to the areas where the other eggs are, and plus you can access most of those with hookshot targets, so you just need to look for those and you'll generally have a good idea of where you need to go. Technically thinking about it, actually, I can go get a bottle right now, now that we have the hookshot, and if you're playing along that on Majora's Mask 3D especially, that could be your 4th bottle. But again, that means you still have to enter this place, leave it, and then come back in for all 4 Zora eggs, and that's just kind of annoying. With that said, make sure you have your Zora Mask handy, because along the way, there's always going to be a locked door from one of these eggs, and, well, you remember Gyarados Fortress. Time for the other part of that to come back as well. Else you need to walk to the center of the room. That's as far as you go. How unfortunate. You won't be getting past here. If you have the stone mask on, they will still see you. It's time for a fight against a Gyarados. They can do some swipes, they can charge up for a super strike, and they can be stunned with the double boomerangs that Mikau can fire out. At that point, just do a jump attack and you'll drain through their HP pretty quickly. I think they still have the super stun attack that they did in Ocarina that would get you thrown out of Gyarados Fortress there. So using the stunning boomerangs is very effective here just to avoid that attack, period. Not bad. But don't think it ends here. Oh, trust me, I know it doesn't. We still have another 2 eggs to get after this. Now, something I technically can do, but don't do. If you head back to Evan with the Zora eggs, I think he actively tells you to go take them to the Ocean Bay lab right near the first owl statue in Great Bay. It's either that or he takes them and puts them somewhere else, which I don't recommend doing. I always skip that step nowadays because it's just not needed for me. But I guess if you want more dialogue, you can go do that. I think also if you don't have any empty bottles, or you need more empty bottles, he can hint towards where one is. But with that, I'm gonna need to end this off here. Thank you guys for watching, and in part 14, we're gonna get some very minor side quests done around the world first before we come back to the Gyarados Pirate's Fortress for the last 2 Zora eggs we can find here. See you guys then.